Chess is a game that needs no introduction. You know, whether you've played it with your mom, your fucking dog, your grandma, whoever, you know, everybody has played it once in their lives before. And if you're actually well versed in the community, you will know that most YouTubers, you know, analyze games that are really good, right? Top of the level, grandmasters, you know, all that stuff. But today, we're going to be doing a little bit differently. Today, we are going to be analyzing one of my games from a couple days ago that I played against this poor soul that, you know, I performed, I'd say, a little better than what I would expect, or what anybody would expect from an Elo rating such as mine. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So, we're playing on the black pieces for this one, and I decide to play the Caro Kann opening. Usually, I will play the Sicilian, or I will just play, you know, the regular stuff, whatever, you have it. But I decided to play the Caro Kann because I felt a little whimsy on this game, which is good, because if I didn't, you obviously wouldn't be here to experience this game. I'm going to come right out and say I'm not a professional at this game. I'm god-awful at it, but I thought that it would provide some value to understand the mind of a 500, roughly 600 Elo player. So, without further ado, let's actually get into it now. Sorry about that. So, play the Caro Kann natural. He decides to play the knight f3, which is fine. Obviously, I'm going to play d5. And from here, it's a little different. I'm usually used to them playing something like this, which is actually an inaccuracy, sure. Or, usually something like this. I don't know, some wacky shit, for being completely honest. But he decides to play knight to c3, get both of his knights out. That's fine, that's okay. Now, I have a couple of moves I can do here. I can just take, you know, and then he can get here, and then he has a wacky little knight, 2 knights right here. I could play this, which actually leaves the pawn hanging. It was just an idea. Obviously, I can't play this yet because the bishop is still trapped, and I usually want to get the bishop out. So, I decide, all right, I'm going to go ahead and bring it out here and attack this knight and put a pin on it to the queen. So, that was the original intention, because after, you know, I want to get this knight out, and after they do this shit, you know, whatever, I can actually take this pawn, you know, eventually. But obviously not playing this. But he goes ahead and boots it out, which is normal. That's what basically everybody in this Elo does. So I obviously take, and usually I'd expect something like this. Get his queen out. You know, he's threatening some nasty stuff down the line. Actually, instead, though, he plays this, and he doubles up the pawns, which is fine. That's okay. So I go ahead and just try and develop as much pieces as I can. You know, that's what Gotham Chess told me. Develop all of your pieces. So the first sensible move, before I make this move, which is usually what I make, is I'm going to bring this pawn out. So that's exactly what I do, is I just go ahead and bring the pawn out. And then I see that he's looking to bring his bishop out, but I'm not really too concerned, because I want to get my knight going. You know, I need to gallop that motherfucker out into the front lines. So I go ahead and plan for that. This move threw me off. I was not expecting this move. So it took me a second to like fully grasp what his, you know, his plan was, right? I had some ideas. I figured, you know, he was going to do this, and then he, you know, he has a direct line and he gets a nice fork. The rook is his, whatever, right? Now you might be wondering, why is it a blunder? You know, there's no pieces attacking it necessarily. Like, there's no white squared bishop. There's no pawn here to, you know, attack his knight, right? Well, there's one piece, which is, you know, the one piece is real, right? But the queen is can attack it, which I didn't actually see. The best move in this position was queen right there, check. And it's a fork on his knight because he can't defend it in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, I'm too stupid to realize that, so that was not the move that I played. I instead decided, oh, I need to get my pieces out. I'm going to bring my knight out. So I completely missed it. I missed the fork. But don't worry. It doesn't go away. It stays there for probably another 4 moves, I'd say. Maybe 5. But I bring my knight out. He brings his bishop out now. So now I'm like, yep, he's 100% going for this. He is 100% because I can't take with my queen because then he takes with the bishop. And his bishop's not even under attack either. So I'm like, oh, fuck. I decide to block with the pawn. And if it wasn't for this move right here, you know, the same fork I just mentioned, this would have been a good move because I'm booting this motherfucker out so he can go backwards, right? Or, you know, yeah, backwards or all the way back to his original spawn. But he scoots it back a space and then I bring my knight out. I'm just going to develop all of my pieces, get them moving, you know, gallop these fuckers out, you know, looking for some shit up here eventually. He plays that. So now I know he's 100% desperate for this square right here. This is what he's looking for. That's the money shot. So I bring my bishop here to defend this, but it's actually a horrible move yet again. Because, you know, after takes, swings his other pawn up, right? And this is the same pawn structure right here that's doubled. He's like basically throwing these bitches at me, right? Goes there, that takes, and then he swings that fucker forward. So I'm like, oh, all right. You're attacking my piece. I'm attacking your piece, right? That's what I'm talking about. I forgot what the term is, but you take mine, I take yours. Little did I know that, you know, if he takes, he's also threatening another attack on my other piece, right? And I'm only getting 1 out of, you know, him taking 2. Not necessarily ideal, right? So he takes. I'm like, ah, shit. All right, I'm backing up. So now I got 2 pieces, you know, against 1 bishop defending that piece. Mind you, by the way, this is still on the board. This has been on the board for about 7 moves now. But let's just push past it. That's all right. Brings his knight in now because he knew he was under attack and he didn't want to, you know, leave it be. So he checks me. I scooch over. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. I'm okay. The move he did here, I immediately caught. Queen F3. I immediately, like, snatched that fucker. I just knew what he was planning. He's planning this. Defended by the knight. Because obviously that's checkmate. And there's no way I'd leave that shit hanging, right? So I do what I naturally would. I play this. Now you might be wondering, oh, it's a miss. On paper, this is a great move. Yeah, this was a good move when I played it. Because it attacks the queen and it defends the piece, the pawn, you know, so he can't, you know, checkmate me, right? Technically, I actually should have played this move because it's a discovered attack on the knight. I didn't see that, but if I'm being completely honest, it still led to the same outcome anyways, so I do that. He takes with his bishop. That's fine. That's a blunder. Perfect. These knights were in the best positions possible because I'm defending and attacking his queen. This is really, 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 really solid. And I'm also, you know, attacking his knight at the same time. So this knight is gone. He literally can't do anything about it. So he scooches the king or the queen forward to obviously attack his knight. I don't care. I'm taking his knight. And I'm defending all 3 of these pieces right here. Now, I'm going to show you what he... So, all right, real quick. Sorry for the fucking stutter. Obviously, in a position like this, if I was playing white, I would castle, right? That's obviously a blunder. And it's a blunder. Because I just had it highlighted. I found, and it took me 23 seconds to find this move. And I erupted. I erupted in my pants, and I erupted just in an absolute fucking, like, crazy, manic, like, episode, basically. Knight d3, check. Brilliant. This is probably the best move that I have ever played. You're witnessing greatness right here, guys. You are witnessing a chess prodigy in the making. This move was the best move I have played still to this day. And this was only like a couple days ago, but still to this day. In an online match, I've played better. I've gotten 2 brilliancies in a row actually against a bot, but those don't count. We push past that. If you want to see, leave a comment. But this move works so well in so many ways. While yes, this knight is getting triple whammy, like absolutely demolished, right? But it's a discovered attack on the queen, and he has no possible way of defending this piece. Not one move he can make. Now, obviously, if he just scoots the king over or over here, I could just take. Yeah, we're good. We're threatening a lot of things here. But obviously, you know, he can take with the bishop, take with the rook, take with the pawn. He takes with the rook. That's fine. That's actually not a bad move for the most part. This would have been better, is what the engine says. But he takes with the rook. That's fine. I take, scoots the king back. That's fine. We're in a good position right here. We are absolutely crushing, and there's no possible way I could fuck this up. Now, I know it's 500 ratings, so you would assume that I would fuck it up, but I actually didn't, believe it or not. I actually played damn near pristine for the last half of this game. See the pawns hanging, I take. You know, I'm threatening some type of stuff here. I'm defending this pawn. This rook's hanging if he doesn't do anything about it. Naturally, I would assume he would play this or this. But he found the best move in this position. He plays bishop to g2. Now, you're probably questioning why this is the quote-unquote best move. Well, I will show you why. So how do you play a move like, I don't know, he only has X amount of moves to play. But how do you play a move like this, right? Attacking this pawn, whatever. How do you play that? One, yeah, he's hanging a rook, obviously. So I would assume he'd play something like this. Terrible move, by the way. Because it's forced back rank mate. So he found the best move and he played bishop to g2. And at the time, I was like, what the fuck? He just blundered. His bishop's hanging. He's just giving away a bishop. He doesn't need to lose any more pieces. He's already losing so bad. Right? But no, that was actually really smart. Now that I look at it. This guy might be a genius too. So then I take his bishop and then he decides to play rook c1. That's actually a really solid move. So yeah, that completely blocks the back rank mate from even happening. For now. Because I got the plans, right? So I decided to push this pawn forward just so, you know, I don't have to keep my queen staring at this guy for that long because I need to make some moves. I need to get this guy, like, jumping around the fucking board. This fine lady. So, pushes his pawn forward. That's okay. I'm not sure why he played this, to be quite honest with you. Whereas he could have played something like this, or he could have, you know, pushed his other 3 pawns out the way. I assume he just thought, yeah, my king is, you know, snug as a bug in a rug or some shit. So he's no concerns there, right? That was a big mistake. So I decided to make the smart move, and I like pitch a tent from my big John right here. That's a double meaning. But obviously I'm not going to go there yet, right? So I see he moves his rook over to b3, attacking this pawn right here that's very vulnerable. So I push it up 2 squares, defended by this guy right here. Now, he moves it back, which I'm not really sure exactly as to why he did that. But whatever. I decided to take advantage of the open file here. Knowing that fully well this guy's rooks are absolutely fucking terrible. They are terrible. This guy's rook is basically trapped on this horizontal axis, and this guy like literally cannot move. He cannot move. He can't move here because that's back rank mate. You know, so not very much that he can do. But he tries to take advantage of this pawn right here because it's now weak because I moved the rook over. I don't care, though. You can have that pawn as far as I'm concerned because I'm going to take your pawn. But I have a plan. You know, I'm not looking at this pawn seeing, me, yummy. I'm going to take. You know, I'm just going to go up in here and then I'm just going to start fucking plowing through shit, you know, like a snow truck. So he takes, I take, gobble that bitch up. And now I play a sequence of moves that's so great. I'm proud that I even found it. But first, obviously, you know, he's getting greedy. I see it in his eyes. I'm like a goddamn shark in the water, you know, with blood everywhere. I'm just fucking having it, you know. I knew the minute he played this move over here originally, I knew he was a greedy. I knew he was going to try and pick up as much pawns as he physically could. And that was his downfall because I play rook to e1. And you cannot take this rook because this is a back rank mate. So he cannot take. So he's going to plant his fucking feet right there, right? Now, he plays this in 5 seconds, right? Obviously, I made a nice little snug hole for my king. So I scooched that buddy in there. He spent 39.8 seconds of his time in this match probably going through the moves. He could play, you know, this. He could play this. He could play this. He can't take. He probably already evaluated that that is a back rank mate. So he figured the best move would be to take my rook. Terrible move. I'm surprised this is a quote-unquote inaccuracy. This is an outright blunder because they just gave up the game. Obviously, you know, I'm sure he assumed this would be the best move, but then, you know, he loses his one rook that was actually being used because, yeah, not good, right? This is not good. This is not good position because it's basically mate coming up here shortly, right? Obviously, that's not what happens. He sees the rook is completely wide open, and he says, fuck it, we ball. I'm going in. 39.8 seconds. I spent less than 4 seconds. Actually, I spent 3 seconds total playing the last 2 moves of this game, which are the only 2 correct moves. Rook c1 check. King c1. Queen e1 checkmate. 3 seconds I spent on those 2 moves. I calculated that bitch while he was here because there was absolutely nothing he could have possibly done besides this move. A nice swift kick in the balls, little pat on the ass on the way out. Godspeed. That's what I said. Bon voyage, motherfucker. And that's how we do it. So hopefully this video provided some value. Hopefully it was at least entertaining too. That's what I strive for at least. If you guys want to see more of this content, just let me know by leaving a like and subscribing and commenting down below, you know, whatever you want to talk about in the comments. I answer all of them, or I try to. So please. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys liked it so much, I will continue making more of these. But yeah, till then, hope you guys have a good rest of you guys' day, and I will see y'all later.